Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm Andy RC, and if you didn't know, I've kind of been struggling with the DJI Phantom 4. So to recap, my friend bought one and he very kindly gave me a go of it. I absolutely loved it and got one myself. The first one turned up and I set it all up. It flew nice and everything was fine, but I noticed that on startup I got a loud chirping noise from the gimbal. My friend bought his round to compare them and his didn't do it. A quick Google search showed a list of complaints with the same issue. I bought the P4 off Apple, so I rang them up and they advised me to return it and they sent me another one. So the second one turns up and the first thing I check is the gimbal. And before even powering it up, I could hear a clicking noise when I moved the gimbal around that wasn't on the first one, and it's also not on my friend's either. So another check online reveals that this is an issue as well. So I ring Apple again and they say, "We're very sorry about this, sir," and they sent me another one. So the third Phantom turns up, and this is where it gets annoying but kind of interesting as well. I power it up and there's no noise from the gimbal. No chirp, no squeak, no clicking, whatever you want to call it. Excited by this, I start videoing it for a review. Now, there's a part of the setup that requires you to update the firmware of the quadcopter. It takes around 15 minutes to complete. So, I sit at my computer and wait for it to finish. At around the 79% mark, the quad powers off and then it turns back on again. With my back to the P4, I hear the dreaded chirping noise, and this time it's even louder than before. I turned it off and on again, and each time it makes the noise, my heart totally sank. It seems that whatever is causing this chirping noise is, to some extent, firmware related. Before I updated the firmware, the gimbal seemed more loose and less resistant to knocks. After the update, there is definitely more power being sent to the gimbal. It has more resistance and also this annoying chirp. Of course, you can't roll back to a previous version of the firmware. Only DJI have the power to do that. So, problem solved, right? DJI just need to get hold of this information and adjust the PIDs of the gimbal or whatever in a firmware update. Well, not quite. You see, my friend's Phantom has never made this noise, and that unsettles me somewhat. And I know people have varying tolerances of what is acceptable in a product, and my tolerance is high up towards the picky side, as many of you have commented on. But this is a huge amount of money that we are all investing in this product, and out of my tolerance levels. At this stage, I am 3 Phantoms in, and I'm on first name terms with high-level Apple management. Aaron from Apple, who was extremely helpful by the way, said this to me, which did reassure me. He said, "Andy, if you are spending this much on a product, it should just work, and it's not. We are escalating this to DJI and advise that there is a trend of defective products in our system." Aaron definitely understands my low level of tolerance when spending this amount of money and agrees to send a 4th Phantom. So the 4th one is here, and I have zero expectations of it. But it makes no noises out of the box, just like the 3rd one. So I do the firmware update, and guess what? No noises. None whatsoever. No clicking noises when it's not powered up, and no chirping, squeaking noises when it is powered up. So to anyone out there who thinks that it is acceptable for the P4 to be making these noises out of the box, and even to the point of assuming it's the new firmware over pushing the motors, why does this 4th one not make any noises? I'm happy to say I will be keeping this 4th Phantom and I will review it fully for you. I have had 4 of them, so I think I know it pretty well by now. And to anyone who can't tolerate the noises coming from their P4, I would say to you, never give up. And to the guys who find it acceptable, your Phantom will probably be fine, and yes, I am very picky. My closing statement on the matter is this. When, or should I say, if the time comes and you need to sell the P4 and you have a squeaky one or a clicking one, there's a good chance that the person buying it might try to knock you down on it. I certainly would. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.